people of the interwebs, I am Zach, back again, this time for a Netflix original review. Today I'm tackling the Italian film The Players, or for my Italian viewers, it is titled Gli Infedeli. I'm so sorry if I butchered that, I'm very American. Anyway, let's get into the review, shall we? I'm just going to refer to the film by the English title because it's obviously much easier for me to do so, but The Players is a film that tells the story of infidelity. One of the things I appreciated about the film was that it did this in a pretty creative way. It wasn't monotonous. Instead of having one long narrative like 99% of films have, The Players consists of 5 or so vignettes. Vignettes, for those of you that are unfamiliar, are essentially micro stories. Each vignette in the film lasts around 20 minutes or so and tells the story of a different infidelity. Think The Ballad of Buster Scruggs or Chungking Express. Both fantastic films, by the way. Check them out if you are able to. So aside from the structure, what did The Players do well? Well, for starters, I think the film offers a diverse set of tones. Each vignette is played differently. One is more comedic and over the top. One is a thriller. There's even one that barely has any dialogue and felt pretty indie. I thought it was a good way to keep each story fresh, despite the fact that they were all covering the same general theme. While not every vignette ultimately worked for me, I do appreciate that they tried to make each one have a different vibe to it. I also enjoyed the acting. The actors were charismatic and enjoyable to watch overall. I'm not really familiar with any of the actors. I know one of the guys was in John Wick 2 and I vaguely remember him, but I felt that they all did a good job. There weren't any performances that ever really took me out of the film, and they played to the different tones of each vignette effectively. And speaking of the actors, this brings me to a choice the film made that left me scratching my head. It uses the same 3 actors at numerous points in the film. Each vignette is a different story, so the actors are playing different characters each time. And this did take me out of the film. I don't really understand why they chose to do this, whether it was a budgetary reason or whatnot, but it just didn't work for me. I think they would have been better served to not reuse actors because at the very least it's going to confuse the hell out of a casual audience. I also think the humor was pretty spotty. I guess you could classify this as a comedy, even though there were some vignettes that were not strictly comedic. And sometimes the comedy worked, other times it was pretty cringy. There was one particular scene where a man is desperately trying to sleep with one of his coworkers, and he's making physical advances despite her objecting, and it kind of seems like they're playing it as humorous, but it felt uncomfortable to watch. And as I alluded to earlier, not every vignette was a success. There were a couple that felt flat to me. For example, there was one that was meant to be a mystery/thriller, and it was interesting, and it could have been a good story. The pieces were there, if it hadn't been condensed into a 20-minute vignette. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. I did enjoy the vignettes, but I think that some of the stories were hurt by the fact that they were confined to that 20-minute block of time. The film also ends in a fairly bizarre manner. The characters are discussing the theme of infidelity, and then something happens that's so ridiculous and on the nose that I can't believe it made the final cut. They even chose to end the film right on that shot. I'm not going to spoil it, but if you've seen the film, you'll obviously know what I'm talking about. Just some quick technical notes before I wrap this thing up. I did like the score quite a bit. There's a particular slow jazz track that plays during one of the vignettes that I enjoyed. And as for cinematography, it was alright, no complaints. It was pretty conventional. It's kind of how comedies tend to be. But I thought it was at its best during the indie-like vignette that I was talking about earlier. They did some creative things with tracking and lighting and whatnot. So in the end, I was stuck between giving The Players a 5.5 out of 10 or a 6 out of 10. And I'm in a solid mood today, so I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I'd say there's slightly more good than bad in this film, and I enjoyed the overall structure, so 6 it is.
Thank you so much for watching my review. I have no idea why my voice got deeper. I genuinely didn't edit it. It's recording this way, so I'm just going to leave it. But let me know what you thought of The Players in the comments below. Shoot me some other films to review, and I just may do that. Leave a like, subscribe. As always, it's totally up to you. I'm Zach, and I'll see you on the next one, folks. Bye!